listeners, you know what time of year it is. It's time for the NCAA Sports Ball Field Goal Touchdown Competition.
The what?
Right? I have no idea. Sports ball, I have no idea. There's like goalies involved and...
I think you're talking about the NCAA March Madness basketball tournament, Derek.
Oh, is that what I'm talking about? I have no idea.
That's for sure.
I was a skinny, asthmatic kid growing up, so... Yeah, the whole sports thing just went right over my head, and I just never really got into it, you know? I've tried off and on over the years, and I know what basketball is.
At least you've seen the ball.
I've actually held one before.
I was going to say, I didn't know how you made it through high school gym without at least playing a little bit with the round ball.
Yeah, so it's March Madness is what they call it, right?
Yes.
Okay. And listeners, please be patient with my ignorance here. Like I said, I'm not a sports ball kind of guy. The closest thing I get to watching sports on television is pro wrestling. And yeah, anyway.
There's nothing wrong with that. I love my 80s, 90s pro wrestling.
Yep, and there's some good stuff happening now too, but that's a totally different topic. Okay, so March Madness. It's a big tournament for college basketball. For college basketball. And we're going to do something similar. Steve had this bright idea, and I'm going to let him explain it because I'll probably screw it up.
Well, as everybody knows, last year we did the top favorite 100 monster movies. And I was talking to Derek about this during Monster Bash and in the fall. I said, Derek, you know, we can do a monster movie madness tournament. We already got the 64 movies seeded. 1 through 64, it's on the list. All we got to do is slot them in, and then people can vote for their favorite movie, and they'll advance on just like they would in the basketball tournament. They have 4 regions, 16 teams, or 16, I keep saying teams, but 16 movies per region. And we'll see who ends up getting to the Frightful 4. And then, of course, whichever one out of his Frightful 4 is going to take the whole thing. Are you there?
Sorry, you started talking sports and I kind of zoned out. Or I had the mute button down because I was coughing. You can guess what happened there. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to, just want to make sure I understand. The top 64 films from the list that we generated last year, thanks to the listeners. And when you say they're seeded, we're going to put them on a bracket in a particular way, kind of following the way that the NCAA does it, right?
That's right. We're going to be doing it the same way. So the number 1 movie on the list, King Kong, will start off playing the number 64 movie on the list, The Last Man on Earth.
Okay.
And then all the matchups, all the 32 matchups will go the same way. So 2 against 63, 3 against 62, and so on, until you get a movie number 32 against 33.
Okay.
We broke them up into different regions, and I tell you, we have interesting matchups that could come up in subsequent rounds, depending on what movie advances as favorites. And so people don't always get used to hearing you and me pick these teams or these movies to see who's going to advance, to give people our expert opinion. We brought in experts to give their opinion from each region. So we have in the North region, we have Christopher R. Mim, who's going to give his expert opinions on what movies he thinks are going to advance. In the South region, we have Joshua Kennedy, and he's going to give his picks. In the East, we have the Kansas City Gruesome Twosome and Richard Chamberlain and Jeff Owens, and they're going to pick their advancements. And the last region, my favorite region, the West, we have Kyle Yount from the Kaiju Cast.
As of this recording, 3 of those 4 sections have already been recorded. I'm going to edit those conversations down, and I haven't told Steve this yet. Or maybe I have. I don't know. I've been sick. He's been sick. It's sports ball. I'm going to release those conversations as independent episodes. They're not going to be part of Monster Kid Radio proper, but they'll still be on the Monster Kid Radio feed.
And then, of course, listeners, Derek has taken the bracket and he's put it on his website so you can download it. Make your own projections who you're going to pick. And then, of course, the most important thing of all, vote. Vote for your favorite movies to see which ones you're going to advance. If you don't vote, your favorite movie might not advance.
So I probably won't be able to create an interactive bracket per se, but I will create a Google form like we've used for the rallies or like we use for our top 100 monster movies. And I'll have them broken down by matchup. So you'll have King Kong and Last Man on Earth, and you just have to pick one, and then so on. And then I'll update that as we go.
As the first rounds are decided, then we'll give an update to tell people what movies are moving on to the next round and so on until we finally get to the Frightful Four, and then the final two, which will decide who would be the winner. And just to give people an idea of the top seeds, in the East, we do have King Kong, the 1933 classic. We put it in the East because when you think of King Kong, you always think of the Empire State Building. You're always thinking of New York City. In the North, we got Frankenstein as the number 1 seed. And when you think about the book Frankenstein, it takes place in the Arctic. So we, of course, naturally put it in the North. And then in the South, when you think of the Creature of the Black Lagoon, you're always thinking of nice, warm tropics. That's where the Creature of the Black Lagoon goes. And in the West, the number 1 seed is Gojira/Godzilla, the 1954 classic, as the West, because if you go beyond California, you got Japan, but also new movies have been taking place in California, so it kind of fits.
Okay, that works for me. Of course, you could have said anything here and be like, oh yeah, that sounds great. Sure, Steve, that's how it works. Yeah.
Well, it makes it fun, and there are going to be some interesting matchups that could possibly play out, because, Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein are both in the same region.
Okay.
So they eventually could have to meet each other. And again, we'll have an age-old question answered. What movie is the best or the favorite? Is it Frankenstein or Bride of Frankenstein? I tell you, it never seems to end that those two always seem to hit each other.
Well, they're both great films, and I'm real curious to see how this turns out. And if it gives us any different results when compared to like the top 100 list. Will King Kong come out on top? We'll see.
I think we're going to get some different results because that one we asked everybody to pick their 20 favorite movies. So we weren't asking people to compare movie to movie. So now you're having a one movie go against another movie. And just because one is a lower on the rankings of our top 100 doesn't mean it can't beat the other one as an overall favorite.
Sure.
So I do think there'll be some upsets.
I'm curious to see how it works out. And if Godzilla beats Creature from the Black Lagoon again, you're fired.
Well, the only way those two can meet is if they both make it to the championship game, because they're on opposite sides. I didn't plan it that way, but it actually worked that way. So just remember, Derek, if it does happen and Creature does lose to Godzilla, it did make it to the final game. And, it's just being in the final game is just reward enough.
Uh-huh.
And Godzilla will always have the 54 rally.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to this, and we'll be making a bigger deal of it here on the show moving forward. Stay tuned to monsterkidradio.net to where you will eventually be able to see the bracket. They will probably be broken up into multiple pages just because I'm not able to get everything to legibly appear on one page, which is fine. You can check that out. It'll be a PDF that you can download. And then, of course, the Google Forms, the Google website where you can go in and just pick your favorites.
That's right. It's going to be fun. And again, let other people know about the tournament. Share it. We want to get as many votes as we can. And I'm really excited to see what's going to happen. I do know that one of our experts is starting a protest group, wondering why a certain movie was not in the top 64.
Really?
Something about the Gorgon not being in there. He got very upset.
Oh.
Where's the Gorgon? Where's the Gorgon? And I'm like, well, more people should have voted for it when it was the top 100 list.
I know where the Gorgon is. The Gorgon is going to Monster Bash. So, just saying.
And I wonder which one of our experts would be upset that the Gorgon is not there.
I don't want to say just yet when the results are going to be released and give us some solid timetables yet, because I still got to put the bracket together and get the forms put together, but that will be happening very, very soon. So stay tuned, Monster Kids.